Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LotraStream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/Lotro. Thanks so much for being here. I am Community Manager Cordovan, and I've got some guests with me today. We're going to do a little bit of Minas Morgul Q&A. We launched the pre-sale of Minas Morgul this week. We're also going to be showing off the Stout-axe Dwarf Introductory Quest, probably on Crick Hollow. We'll show you a little bit about... We'll do an unboxing, I think, on one of these Minas Morgul Ultimate Editions, and have plenty of time for your questions and answers as well. So let me start by introducing some folks. On the left on the screen here, we're going to start with you, Tiber.
Hi.
Say hello and also explain a little bit what you do.
I am a systems designer here on Lotro. So systems designers work on classes and items, and I work on store stuff. I work on...
Pull the mic a little closer to you if you could.
Closer.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Yep.
Classes and items and store stuff and pretty much any kinship stuff, any system in the game that's not directly tied to the content, systems designers will have their hands in.
All right, sounds good. Next up, we've got Maid of Lions.
That's me. I'm a content designer. I make the epic story for Lotro, and most recently I've been working on the Black Book of Mordor.
All right, sweet. And then on my right here, it's Red Panda.
Hi, I am Red Panda, and I am in the marketing department, mostly doing a lot of the marketing things, store stuff, and, you know, all the marketing fun things. It's just a lot of stuff.
All right, so this week we launched the Minas Morgul pre-sale, and it even has a darn release date in it, doesn't it? So you can find out a whole lot more, lotro.com/Minas Morgul, and I've got the URL on the bottom of the screen here. You can just check that out, lotro.com/Minas Morgul, to get a whole bunch of information. We do have a FAQ up as well. I think a lot of the questions we're going to get today may actually, some of them may be answered in that FAQ, so you can go and check that out. We do have that in Moobot on chat with the ! Minas Morgul command if you need to get a look at that link again. Let's start with a couple of Twitch chat questions first, and then we'll kind of get into maybe some of the items in Mordor besieged and that sort of thing as well. So let's start with actually kind of a Mordor related question. I think this is one for you there, Tiber. Will we have Light of Arendelle and Allegiance systems in Minas Morgul?
That is a great question, and that also ties into the content.
You need to really talk to them.
Sorry.
It's a little quiet.
Yeah, sorry. That's a great question, and it really actually ties into the content as well. So the systems designers and the content designers will have to sit together and talk and figure out whether they're even going to put shadow in their instances or not. And at that point, we'll figure out what light we need on the itemization to let you counteract the shadow. And I don't actually know what the numbers are going to be this time, because we haven't sat down and done that yet.
Nice.
There is not an allegiance system with Minas Morgul.
All right, that sounds good. The question next that I see is one that Red Panda can answer here. And that is it correct that we will be able to buy the Ultimate Collectors and Base Edition bundles in the Lotro market after the release of Minas Morgul?
Yes, those are still going to be available for purchase after the release.
All right, and again, lotro.com/Minas Morgul for info on that. I love the bingo quest, thank you, says Hoppajol.
Hooray! Me too.
Me too.
All right, will there be a level 50 to 120 Arya of the Valar like currently in the shop? A couple of points on that I wanted to talk about. Big Hanson one, thanks for the question. So the Minas Morgul Collectors and Ultimate Edition does include a new Valar that'll take you up to level 120.
Yep.
And this is we're going to work a little different than the one you may have seen for Mordor, for example, in a couple of particular ways. I'm thinking about the item thing that we're probably going to talk about here in a little bit. But in general, what do people need to know about the 120 and how it compares to basically previous Valars that they might be used to?
So the new Valar that's coming with the Collector's Edition and Ultimate Fan Edition will also be available for separate purchase in the Lotro store at, I think the number is $66.95. So it's going to be the same price as the one from Mordor. We are not currently intending to have a upgrade. I think I saw a question about an upgrade from 50 to 120. There's currently no plan to do an upgrade bundle. I remember seeing somewhere on the forum, someone said that someone had mentioned something about the LI thing, and this is something that the systems team and the marketing team have worked on extensively, is that this new Valar will actually come with a second age pre-imbued LI that has a certain amount of legacies already unlocked and a preset number of legacies.
It will actually come with 2 of them, one for your weapon and one for your
Right.
class item.
Right.
Cool.
So the intention is so that if you have one of these, you can immediately pop it open, use it, and just start playing. Because the experience from reading and actually experiencing a Valar from Mordor was that after you popped it open, you still had a whole bunch of other stuff that you needed to do. So we wanted to make it so that when you do use this Valar, you can immediately experience Minas Morgul and all its amazingness.
Yeah, we're basically streamlining the Valar process a little bit by providing this to you as part of the package there.
Right.
That's correct.
All right, and
And that
yeah.
Valar will be usable from level 5 once you get out of the novice experience up until level 119. You can't use it if you're level 120 or above.
What about like trait points included, things like that?
There will be trait points included. We're going for a more streamlined approach on that as well. Instead of just making you use the class deed tome and the Rohan deed tome and the Gondor deed tome, our intention is just to give you the trait points straight up, which means you can go back and complete the quests that would otherwise give you class trait points, but there will be a cap on class trait points, so that you can't exceed what a normal player playing up through the levels could achieve.
Over on YouTube, Nedsteel says, will there be a raise of the virtue cap, quote, actually 60 with Minas Morgul?
There will be. The current plan is to raise it to 65 with Minas Morgul, so that as you're leveling and doing all the new deeds, you can actually get some benefit from your virtue experience.
Cool. All right, let me quick look over on Facebook here. That's a class question. We'll get to that probably a little bit later on in the show. I don't see anything immediate I need to answer. How many skill points available due to leveling? Do we know?
They're talking about the class trait points.
Yeah.
I think there will be 2, but I am not sure.
Okay. Darnolf has a question on Twitch. I don't know. When we use a Valar, does it normally unlock stable masters? You still have to visit them, right?
Nope, you still have to visit the
Yeah.
stable masters.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Get yourself that hunter friend.
All right, this is a thank you, Jan, over on YouTube for nicely transitioning me into the next bit we can talk about. Is the quest experience all in Mordor? The answer is some of it is, and including some Mordor besieged.
So the question you mean in Morgul?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what they mean.
So basically, this has been the hardest secret to keep for the last year. It seems that every time someone has talked or given an interview or something, I have had to keep an eye on what they say to see if they're going to let slip about Mordor besieged. When Sev went away and was talking about Stout-axes, I was particularly concerned that he was going to spill the beans. So it's tricky because my resting state is to not tell anyone anything, because I want you to experience it to start with when you play the content. But I understand that in this case we probably need to explain it a little bit. So I will give you maybe the first 5% of the story, just enough to set up what is Mordor besieged. In the closing years of the Second Age, 3,000 years ago, the High Kings, Elendil and Gil-galad, went north to assemble the greatest fighting force that the world had seen in recent memory at that point, and they came south to combat Sauron. This was called the Last Alliance of Men and Elves, but many other peoples joined them on their southward road. So you had dwarves led by Adurin. You had the whole Budlin people led by their matriarch, who I will not name at this time. You had the Theuda, led by another guy that I will not name at this time, and they threw down. They on the battle plain of Dagorlad, they fought against Sauron's armies. They had the victory. They threw down the Black Gate. They marched into Mordor, and then they besieged the Dark Tower for 7 years. Mordor Besieged takes place at the tail end of the Siege of Barad-dûr. So this is basically in the final year of the Second Age. So you may ask, how can I experience the final year of the Second Age? Well, this is the part where I mention session play and I get everyone scared. But I tell you that we've used session play to nope. We've used session play to show events that your character couldn't be at, and it's been very useful. It's a good. I think it's a good way to tell certain stories, but there is a problem with session play, and the problem is that you aren't playing your character. Players are really invested in playing their character. They know how to. They like the experience of playing their character, and ideally, we would find a way for you to play your character rather than using session play for this. So that's what we're doing. We'll let you use your character. But my character wasn't around at the end of the Second Age. If you're a high elf, you were knocked out during this part. You were knocked out at Dagorlad. So you also weren't here for the Siege of Barad-dûr. So here there are minor spoilers for Shades in the Swamp that just came out that I hope you have played by now. But at the conclusion of Shades in the Swamp, we found the Shade of Isildur and freed him from the slumber that he had been put in. It's a whole thing. Play Shades in the Swamp. But at the beginning of the Minas Morgul expansion, we will be speaking with Isildur about the Siege of Barad-dûr, and he will begin to tell us the story of what transpired at the siege. There was a guardian, champion, captain, lore master, burglar, whatever you are. There was one of those back then that he remembers. This character befriended his sons. So by telling you the story of this character who is the same as you, who lived back then, you will get to experience what their adventures were during the siege. Super early on, you will find a treasure coffer of all of their belongings. This has all the weapons, all the armor, all the things you've bartered for, all the faction rep tokens, all of the things that this character experienced are in this coffer. So every time you do a quest in Mordor Besieged, all the quest rewards are this is why you get to keep them, because you found this treasure trove of things that belonged to this character. So Mordor Besieged is a landscape zone, that takes place at the end of the Second Age. It has quests, it has deeds, it has lost lore. The joke is that maybe 3,000 years ago it hadn't been lost yet, so should we just call it lore? Still undecided.
I liked it.
But it is one of the zones of the Minas Morgul expansion. It just happens to take place in the past. So just to clarify, it isn't session play. Like, you are playing your character, but the story conceit that we have come up with is that this is a way that will allow you to experience a landscape zone in the past. And I'm very, very excited about it.
And that's just the Mordor Besieged part.
That's just that is the first part of the
That's just the small part of the whole thing.
Nice. All right. We had, while we were talking here, I saw one question, a tax question related to the purchase flow. The reason the tax is typically not included in the base price is because we do serve a worldwide audience, so it gets a little complex there. Better to deal with that during the checkout process. If you do run into any tax issue in particular, please do get in touch with customer service. That's help.standingstonegames.com if you need to, and they'll take care of you.
Ooh, does
You
it
see
top
that,
of
Chris?
Minas Morgul?
do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do we want to tell them?
Does the top of Minas Morgul move?
You should
I
play
don't.
to
I don't
find
know
out.
that we really want to talk about that too much. We will. Do we have plans to do more visual weapon effects? So, for example, there is a new visual
Right.
weapon aura that is available in the Minas Morgul pre-sale, and that is a bit of a new system that I believe you had some involvement with, maybe a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, can you just speak a little bit about what is it? What do I need to do? On the new weapon aura, how do I use it? What do I
Oh,
need to do?
how do you use it? So
Yeah.
you have a weapon aura. You need to equip it into the new slots on your character panel. If you put it on, it will make your weapon glow with that particular aura. In the Ultimate Package, there are also included standard weapon auras, which actually turn off any weapon aura that happens to be on your item. So if you have a legendary item that's Baleriand or Westerness, you'll notice that it has a glow, and if you don't like that glow, you can just turn it off with the standard weapon aura. Weapon auras can also be cosmetically equipped, so once you have a weapon aura equipped on a weapon, you can then, in the Cosmetic Outfits tab, replace it with whatever aura you want to grab from your shared wardrobe. And yes, there are plans for future weapon auras. Some of the artists have already started looking at what kinds of auras they would like to have.
Right. There was
Stay
a
tuned.
mention of the detection auras, like very much like how Sting had it, is it glows in the presence of whatever. We had talked about that as
We
well.
don't have the tech at the moment
No.
to make the glow change based on the AIs around you, the monsters around you.
Right, we don't. But that was something that was brought up, and that's something we have discussed, or I've discussed.
Sure.
We'll make it around.
Yeah, we'll see if we can ever do something like that, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the timing next, Chris, we are going to be working on a Bulwer preview, I believe, is really the next V tier after this pre-sale campaign. We'll have more info on that really in the pretty near future.
And it will be definitely next month, though. So
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
hold your breath for September.
Yeah, when is September over? It's Sunday.
It's 5 days.
So,
Five
yeah.
days, so.
Yeah.
It's not happening in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's on the agenda here pretty soon. In terms of the timing of the release, I do think it'll be slightly similar to the way Mordor was done in terms of the Shelob raid being released after the initial release. I don't know. Have we settled on all the instance plans in that in terms of the release schedule?
So the current plan includes at least three-man instances when we release Minas Morgul proper. There is a fourth three-man instance which may or may not come at that time. And then several weeks later, we'll have 3 6-man instances. And then early next year, you would expect Shelob.
Yeah. How many beta testing rounds? Several. I think the exact number will kind of be based as to how those previews go and things like that. But for FAQ questions related to when is X, Y, and Z going to be released in the Lotro store for Lotro points, I would direct you to the FAQ. We have what do we say on the date on that?
I think it was
March.
March,
Yeah. So on March, it'll be available then in the Lotro store for points. And you can find that on the Lotro FAQ. It even tells you how much it's going to cost and stuff. So you can
Is the
do that.
Stout-axe
Yeah.
going to be
Yeah,
available for
Stout-axe will
PAL?
also be available for points in March.
Okay.
Yeah. Any update on when we can change races? That's something that we're working on, but aren't really ready to talk further about at this point.
I can tell you engineering is working really hard on it,
Yes.
and it's tricky.
What about? Let's see. I'm trying to see. There was one question here I saw.
There was one about Shelob. Shelob was a multi.
I don't know that
Assassin
we have really gotten into like the mechanics of the raid though yet. I think it's
Okay.
way
No,
too
no.
early for that.
There is
Yeah.
a question about whether these instances are true instance finder instances or whether they're resource instances. They are, in fact, true instance finder instances. I don't know if there's going to be any resource dungeons as well. That's more content's purview.
All right. Let me head back to chat. Is there any kind of big section that you think we should mention that we haven't really on our part here? I think we pretty well got things covered. can you think of any kind of big bullet points we should mention here as we're kind of looking to wrap up here in a little bit? Will there be any legendary axes for burglars now that the Stout-axe can be a burglar? I saw a conversation on that yesterday. The answer is unfortunately no. We are not making legendary axes for burglars.
Anytime we have a class-specific weapon, we don't want to make legendary versions of it that most people who are playing that class can't use. So while stout axes can use axes, there will not be a burglar legendary axe. Yeah.
And then finally, do you know anything about the crafting guild updates? Do you know the status of that at all?
Yeah, one of my friendly systems designers, that's not me, is working hard on those crafting updates. There's actually a lot of it already in our development environment. And she set up a bunch of new guild crafting quests, which is a new road we haven't taken before, which comes with Minas Morgul. And there isn't going to be a new guild crafting tier. And you should stay tuned for more. I can't wait to see people's reactions on the Bulvor forums for how they like this kind of crafting interaction.
Let us go full circle, like recycling and life and the universe, and answer with the same question that we started with, which is, where did it just scroll up here? Light of Arundel and Allegiance again. Is that going to be used in Minas Morgul?
No Allegiance. Yes, Light of Arundel, details not yet worked out. Like, literally, I don't even know the numbers because we haven't figured them out yet.
All right. Awesome. You guys and gal have to go and get some lunch, and I have some other stuff to show off here for Court of the Ring, so I want to thank you very much for being a part of the show here today.
Cool.
And what I'm going to do is a quick cut to the trailer so that people can head on out of the office, or out of the room here, and I will be back in just a little bit.
Thanks all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
No! I almost did it right. I thought I was finally going to have a show where my skill would... Instead, I guess I just demonstrated the actual skill level. How's it going, everyone? All right, what was I actually saying? What I was actually saying is thanks, everyone, for being here. I'm going to be logging into Crick Hollow here in just a minute to show off the unboxing of the Minas Morgul pre-sale and then run the instance. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I'm actually moving some windows over. You know, I handle production on top of all this stuff, and I had to use one of the monitors for them so they could see your chat. But now I gotta get room so I can actually see myself again. Alright. Cut that. I wasn't sure if we were gonna need them in game or not. So what I think I'm gonna do is make a Stout-axe champion. That seems kind of fun, and I'm kind of curious about that. So I kind of want to make a Stout-axe champion here. There was a question in chat about what classes you can be. The answer to that is Burglar, Champion, Guardian, Hunter, Minstrel, and Rune Keeper. I have to admit, I kind of like my default look. I'm just going to randomize those, see if I can find something I like. Ooh. Yeah, that'll work. And for name, I don't know if I've probably already taken this. Yep. What do I want to call myself? How about... There we go. Stampion the Champion. Just like Dwinstrel the Dwarven Minstrel. And Dwinstrel the... No, Dwin... Yeah, something like that. What can we expect in terms of the streamlining of the Valars? It's what we said in that chat there. I don't want to have people's expectations, perhaps, become artificially raised. It's going to include, say, a second age LI to help you there. And then the other things they mentioned. But it's not... It's still going to be a little bit you're going to have to do, just because, you know, there's a lot to deal with. I can never remember. Where's this hints? It's around here somewhere, isn't it? Here we go. Show tutorial hints. I don't need that. All right, first thing I'm going to do is, oh my gosh, look at my inventory. Minas Morgul Ultimate Fan Bundle bonus items. This will be delivered after you apply the Minas Morgul presale code to your account. Log back out, log back in. And it is what's going to include all the cool stuff. Actually recently was looking at a bug, so bought myself some inventory space. Cosmetic Armor of the Dead City. Let's start with that here. As you can see, this is the normal weapon aura, the thing that you can sort of drop into the new slot. Oh, my level's too low to actually do that right now. That's fine. All right. Cloak of the Dead City. We kind of show it to you here. Let me double check where I am on the graphics panel just to make sure that you can see it okay. Move over just slightly. All right. I'm going to not put on the hooded cloak for the moment. I'll put on the leather shoes so you can take a look at those. Show you the helm. Gloves. Pauldrons. And then the chest plate. Alright, so now you can see it in there, and I'm going to quick put that in game here, and you can, oops, a little bit of a issue unfortunately, but that's okay. Looks like I have a bug with clipping out the legs there, but that's okay. Armor of the Great Alliance, we'll get that sorted soon. Alright. Hooded cloak. Gloves, boots, oops, greaves, chest plate, pauldrons. I got sorted a little in my inventory there. And where else? Last piece. No, that's hammer hand, pants, cloak. Hooded cloak. Regular cloak. There we go. Oops, or not. There we go. There we are. And my pants got to be around here somewhere, but I'm just not seeing them right now. Is that what these are? No, that's a cloak. There we are. I knew it was around here somewhere. Okay, that's what I was looking at. Oops. Got to switch to it. Fortunately, looks like it's not 100% displaying correctly yet on this character. That's alright. Alright. I'll have to file a bug, see what's up with that.
Early yet, even for him.
The other piece, let's see, is there anything else in here? The rest I just can't equip yet. Yeah, it's part of the starter instance issue, I'm pretty sure as well.
I don't know how you can eat that. Even the rats taste
It looks like I was the model for the new dwarves. Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. I think, to be honest, I think they're definitely more broad-shouldered and chunkier than I. But they're certainly stronger than me too. But I don't know. Maybe around the neck a little bit. Can I clarify, did Tiber say there will or will not be a new crafting guild tier? Let me double check on the audio. I believe I heard Tiber say there would not be a new crafting guild tier, but it would basically be a different way to do it. I don't know, Kanjal, about the level of being able to select the legacies. I think that that's a detail that maybe is a little bit too early to get into at this point. I don't actually know that that's work is done yet, so I better just not mention it. Yeah, I noticed that as well, Lightning Shatter. That was pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Is that all then? Nothing else for the order to hear?
All right. So anyway, I'm kind of glad that we were able to do that. I was hoping that we could pull together just kind of a fairly casual Q&A for the launch of our Minas Morgul pre-sale this week. If you liked this kind of 20-25-minute sit-down, if you felt there was value in it, let me know. That's the kind of thing I always like to do. It is a bit of a burden on the team for me to make them do all that stuff, but especially during beats like this, they're usually pretty amenable to it. So hopefully you dug it. Hopefully it turned out okay. Hopefully the sound was okay. And we can do more of that kind of thing in the future. Let's see. I would need to double check, see what they said in terms of the percentage range of the instances. That would not surprise me if it was basically, 236, which is 1236, something like that. I think it'll be pretty standard for whatever we've been doing. I mean, I know that the team is trying to say, like, these plates are all terrible, but I would say at least they give you plates, and you're able to pick them up, and they theoretically get kind of cleaned. I would have expected even worse. So I would encourage you, if you have not, especially if this is really your first day, maybe hearing about the Minas Morgul pre-sale, maybe you just didn't catch the news yesterday or whatever, please do check out that FAQ. It'll answer a whole lot of your questions about when things are going to be there and when you're going to get what and what all it includes and what does that mean, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, check it out. Hopefully you'll get a lot more out of checking that out. And then lotro.com/MinusMorgul to see the various plans and follow through to the Lotro market out of game if you are interested in making a purchase. And what did we say? Something like an October release date in the fine print? I always find it kind of nuts that we put release dates in these things. In a perfect world, right? Let's see, how many defeat rats? I gotta kill 4 more rats. Collect a whole bunch more plates. Get a bucket from the foul larder. More rubble. That's out of this room, though, I know that. Yep, scheduled October 29th, which should be a pretty cool timing for Lotro players who enjoy playing things around, spooky-ish things around a certain time of the year. Alright, rats are done. Make sure where the larder is. It's not that way. So, above Manwë, we definitely, discussed what should be in the base edition and how should it be potentially different, if at all, from what we've done in the past. And one of the things that we heard most consistently following the release of Mordor is that the High Elf was not included in the base edition, and a bunch of people felt that they would like it to be. So we made sure to include the Stout-axe this time in the base edition of Minas Morgul. But in order to keep kind of the price point we want to hit, we didn't include the 120 Valar as well. I understand what you're saying about, like, oh, just make it an option. And you can do that. At some point it gets fairly complex in terms of logistics. So, I don't know. I guess we've just chosen to offer what we have. Oh, I don't need to kill more rats. No formal date for Rohan on the Legendary servers. I will say it is not in 2019. So the date as to Riders of Rohan hitting the Legendary worlds, it's going to be next year, not this year. Our intention is to follow our stated approximately four-ish month timeline. But it won't be 2019. It won't be coming up for, say, the holidays or anything like that. Stout-axes start at level 1, just like any other character. They don't start at a higher level. Let's see. Does that mean we'll get the date the day before Riders of Rohan, like we did the last two? My hope is that... Oops, where am I carrying that? I'm guessing there's a captain. Okay. My hope is that we can get it to you sooner than that. You know, we'd like to be able to give you as much heads up as we can. We recognize, you know, Rise of Isengard hit quick. Siege of Mirkwood hit quick. So hopefully we'll make you, we'll do a better job of that, hopefully, for Riders of Rohan. Some of the timing is not ready to be announced in terms of the what when. All right. The other piece I would mention is we are right on the cusp, next week really, of launching Extra Life, both for Lord of the Rings Online and our other game. I think we're going to do it under a Standing Stone Games Extra Life team this year, and that'll be coming, you know, next week for an announcement. I'm doing some work kind of behind the scenes further today on it. My hope is, I don't really have a whole lot new in terms of offering for incentives, but my intention is to try to offer a couple of fun things this year that hopefully people will like. But stay tuned next week for that. We will do a typical Extra Life Marathon live stream on Lotro Stream here. Don't know the exact date. If I want to go the same day as our publisher, then I'll figure out what day they're going to do it and then put it on that date as well. But I haven't really quite gotten that far yet. I'm also waiting for October to roll around, and like I said, I got a little bit of work yet to do, so. I don't know about why they made the various facial options what they were. I have not heard of plans for further low-level Valars, like, say, a 60, 65, 75, 85, something like that. I've not heard of plans to do anything like that. I think I'm all cleared out here. I'm just double checking. Yep, I am. I'm all cleared out here. Oh, there's a pile. All right, everything's done there as well. Trying to remember how I get down from here. There we are. Here, have some water. Is there going to be a beta for the new content? Yes. Stay tuned. That should be really the next kind of big announcement from us will probably be info on the Bull Roarer preview. We did have a Stout-axe Bull Roarer preview last week, so thanks everyone for taking part in that. Of those of you who did, of which you were many. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to quote Made Alliance there, but I thought he was clearly excited, right, about Minas Mordor besieged. So am I. It's one of those kind of pieces of info. It's a big part of the Minas Morgul expansion on top of the direct kind of new Minas Morgul stuff for the current storyline. And there's Black Book of Mordor stuff in there, too. You know, I could actually mention one thing quick about Black Book of Mordor. This came up on the on the forums yesterday, and the question was, if I purchase Minas Morgul, does that unlock the entirety of the Black Book of Mordor? And the answer to that is yes, it does. If you purchased the Mordor expansion, then you also have the Black Book of Mordor unlocked for you, including the new stuff. So think of it almost like an on-ramp. You can get on that Black Book of Mordor on-ramp through a Mordor expansion purchase, and now you could get on that on-ramp through a Minas Morgul expansion purchase as well if you need to. Stupid keyboard. Why do you not work? All right. There we go. Cool, like they even have a date on it.
All of this can't be us, can it?
Sora125 asks, basically, is this a turn toward enabling mostly endgame focused gameplay? I guess kind of feel like we've been doing that. You know, end game focused gameplay. Am I wrong? Maybe your definition is a little different than mine. I apologize. But I would say update 24 is pretty much endgame stuff too, isn't it?
Science good enough. Time to take it to the rest before we force them.
Stay tuned. We haven't announced what we'll do when the time comes that the legendary worlds achieve parity with the non-legendary worlds. That's clearly a big, interesting topic, and one I imagine, you know, we probably wouldn't even talk about until we got quite a bit closer to that time frame. Let's see. I have not heard of a Dunedain race, so that doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen. But it's definitely not there. Oh no. I'm attacking Gollum. What's up with that? I should push him into making a Dunedain race? Okay.
No wonder he wanted to be leader.
So coming up in a couple of minutes here, we are going to have Grifflet, Corey Olson, the Tolkien professor, will be here. Later on this afternoon, Druid's Fire's out. I hope you're doing good, Druid's Fire. I see you in chat. If you feel like popping in stream chat here and let people know what's up for your show later on today. That sounds good. You can find the full schedule. We got a busy weekend and such too. So if you like watching Lotro, if you are excited for Minas Morgul and want to hang out with other Lotro peeps, if you get a hankering this weekend for some reason to feel like streaming or feel like playing or have a sudden question about Minas Morgul and the forums aren't answering you fast enough, feel free to pop over onto Lotro Stream Chat. We got helpful folks here. I'd be happy to help you out. Quick programming note for me. I will not be here next Friday. I'll peer around the corner and look to see if the gates are... Oops. There we go. Yep, Google Calendar as well. Over on Lotro Stream. So anyway, I will not be here this coming Friday. I've just got some personal time I'm doing. And then I'll be back the following Friday. That's a cool looking character. Have I done any mods to my car that I showed you a while back? No, actually, I don't have that kind of money. And if I do, I spend it on Atari games. I don't have that kind of money. I cleaned it up real nice. It's looking good. It's driving good. I really like it. For those that wonder, I drive an old car. It's a 2006 Mitsubishi Eclipse, but it's kind of rad. So, why am I not? What's going on here? Escape. Oh, before he overpowers Lathan. Okay. Sure, let me not fail the instance. I have not seen the new Dark Crystal Netflix show. I was a big, I'm of an age that Dark Crystal was very formative for me as a kid. I saw it in the movie theater, and it was kind of traumatic, actually, at the time, but it was also really cool, so I will at some point, but no, I haven't. How much is live up to now with the new expansion? It will be. Let me make sure I'm giving the number right here, but should be 130. Yeah. Yep, 130. You drive a 97 Plymouth? Oh, I know. I've had older cars. Trust me. The oldest car I ever drove, and this would have been in 1995, 6, I owned and drove a 1967 Chevy C10 pickup truck that had been owned by the state of Montana Forestry Service, and through a friend of a friend, got it at auction for $200. It had a Smokey the Bear bumper sticker on it, and I thought that was cool. All right, so any kind of final questions I should mention? I think we pretty well covered it all. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I'm actually going to be checking out here so that I can not stomp too much into Tolkien Professor's stream. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Find the full schedule over on twitch.tv/LotraStream. Thank you so much for being here. Lotra.com/Minas Morgul. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Have fun, everyone.